Welcome back to the Space Gulag, otherwise known as the PPSW, and today we're back with another Star Wars theory. Today we're doing what would have happened if Darth Maul killed Obi Wan Kenobi on Naboo during the Phantom Menace. So, before we go anywhere, shout out to Concordia Jedi. He's an awesome dude. Go check him out, link down below. Go subscribe to him. Also subscribe to PPSW if you want a chance to win a free lightsaber when we hit 10k. It's coming up. We're making moves right now, so my goodness, you better subscribe before the lightsabers get sent out. Anyways, this is something we've all thought about. Dave Filoni even talked about it in The Mandalorian behind the scenes. But what would have happened if Darth Maul had killed Obi Wan Kenobi on the planet Naboo? This theory has been talked about hundreds of times, but let's try this out a little bit more in depth, and how the story should have gone if Obi Wan Kenobi had died on Naboo. We start out at the end of the Phantom Menace, where Qui-Gon Jinn confronts the Grand Master. Yoda tells him that the Council does not approve of Anakin's training in the Jedi Order. Why is this? Well, it's simple. It's because they didn't want him in the Order, and it was very clear throughout the Phantom Menace that they didn't want him to become a Jedi. They didn't want Anakin to join the ranks of the Jedi. So we're going to follow those rules, because Anakin was allowed into the temple because Obi-Wan promised to train the boy. Agree or disagree, I don't really care, because we're going with this, and this is how the story begins. Qui-Gon is outraged. His apprentice has died, and now he wasn't allowed to train the Chosen One. Rather, the Chosen One was not allowed to even join the ranks of the Jedi Order. Qui-Gon knew this would result in the end of the Jedi. Though Qui-Gon didn't agree with everything the Jedi did, he needed to act upon this one specifically. Anakin at this moment was disheartened. His dream of becoming a Jedi wasn't going to happen, but Qui-Gon reached out to the little boy and told him,
"Anakin, I will train you to become a Jedi, no matter what the Council says."
Qui-Gon told the Council he accepted the decision, and then he took it upon himself to go back on that word. He wouldn't leave the Order like his master Dooku, but he was going to train the boy. Qui-Gon took Anakin to the planet Lothal to begin his training. Anakin's training went smoothly and happily. This experience was much better than anything he would have ever experienced at the Jedi Temple. It's fair to say that Anakin would have progressed extensively, and he would have been able to interact with his mother. Qui-Gon would go back to Tatooine with Anakin, and they would have to search for his mother, who was now at the Lars farm. She was happily married, and this made Anakin especially happy, but he had to go back to his training. His training had to continue. Qui-Gon was the father figure that Anakin needed. Anakin was able to express this feelings that he had about dreams of Padme, and he was able to communicate with his master openly. And Qui-Gon was able to tell Anakin,
"The feelings you have are natural. I used to tell Obi-Wan, feel, don't think. Use your instincts. Anakin, the Force flows through you unlike anyone else. Use that to your advantage. But do not let it lead you down the path of darkness. I will teach you how to do this."
As the years passed, most of the events would play out rather the same. Qui-Gon was still a Jedi, and as Anakin became of age, he and Jinn went to the planet Ilum to pick up a kyber crystal that Anakin would turn into his first lightsaber. It was also time for Anakin to venture deeper inside of the Jedi Temple on Lothal, which required a master and apprentice to enter. Inside, Anakin was able to experience premonitions, both about his mother and about a war that would engulf the Jedi, the Galactic Republic, and the entire galaxy. Qui-Gon felt the presence of the war and informed the Jedi after he took Anakin back to Tatooine. On Tatooine, they rescued his mother from the Tusken Raiders without slaughtering them. This would be able to help Anakin find balance within himself. Anakin would essentially at this point embody balance. And this showed, as for the first time in centuries, a golden blade shone from Anakin's lightsaber. As Attack of the Clones rolled around, the Republic was engulfed in war, and the Jedi were now generals, though Qui-Gon decided to contact his former master, Count Dooku. Dooku would travel to Lothal to talk to Qui-Gon, and though Dooku had fallen from the Order and was serving the Dark Lord of the Sith, he offered his apprentice a position.
Qui-Gon, I want to offer you a chance to join me. Together, we could destroy the Sith. I know you think as I do about the Jedi. But we could end the tyranny of the Sith.
Qui-Gon thought momentarily about being able to stop the Sith. But he knew he needed to finish Anakin's training, as he told Dooku.
I will not join you. I trust in the Force as you do. And I believe it will take us to where we need to be.
Dooku, though, was never informed of Anakin's presence. Sidious was still searching for Skywalker. He knew Skywalker would be the perfect apprentice, but little did he know that Anakin was a product of the perfectly balanced and understanding Jedi. The Clone Wars would continue, but there would be no sign of Anakin or Obi-Wan's leadership on the battlefront. Qui-Gon, though, was forced into leading a clone army and took an apprentice into his ranks, Ahsoka Tano. Anakin handled this really well, actually, and he didn't have any quarrel with Ahsoka. He stayed on Lothal and frequently traveled to other Jedi temples to gain knowledge of the Force and mastering his lightsaber form. Ahsoka would be trained and eventually become a knight, as Qui-Gon led his troops as one of the most liked Jedi generals in the Galactic Republic. Clones loved him. He would embody what Obi-Wan would have embodied in canon and what Anakin embodied in canon. Anakin's secrecy would be cut short, as he would run into Count Dooku by accident, and he was very unaware of the Jedi he had met. Dooku would ignite his blade ready to slay the Jedi, but then Anakin informed him that he was no Jedi, but that he was taught by Qui-Gon. Dooku would be shocked by this revelation, and he would have to reveal to his master what he had encountered. Dooku didn't want to engage, because he cared not just for Qui-Gon, but for the plan of his master. Sidious was also relieved to hear that Anakin had been trained by a Jedi, not comprehending that Qui-Gon Jinn wasn't your normal average Jedi. The timeline would enter the Revenge of the Sith time frame, and the Clone Wars were on the brink of ending. Anakin told his master that he thought the war would end soon, and that the Jedi would go extinct. Qui-Gon knew this were true, but it was too late. Order 66 would ravage through the Jedi Order, and few were left. Some of the notable Jedi would be Windu, Yoda, Plo Koon, Shaak Ti, and Kit Fisto. They were the only council members remaining. Qui-Gon knew that if the Jedi were to survive, they needed to unite against the Emperor. Now, you might be questioning, how did Qui-Gon survive? Well, that's because Qui-Gon returned to Lothal on his mission, in quotations, to visit Anakin, because Anakin told him of a premonition, and to stay away from the clone army, because that premonition told him that the Jedi would go extinct. Palpatine, meanwhile, knew that Anakin was out in the Outer Rim, and was narrowing down the planets he could be at. Qui-Gon would be able to gather Shaak Ti, Plo Koon, and the Grand Master, Yoda, and they would plan their assault on the newly crowned Emperor, and bring an end to his rule. The Jedi Masters also had to acquaint themselves with the Chosen One, who was more powerful than himself in canon at this time period, almost as powerful as Master Yoda. The Jedi moved on the Emperor, but instead of surprising him, he was already interlocked in battle with two Jedi Masters. Mace Windu was fending off Palpatine as he tried to kill Kit Fisto. This battle was intense, but the Jedi who arrived moved with prowess. Anakin, though, ignited his blade, and the color caught Palpatine's attention. He knew this could be Anakin. He sent lightning at the other two Jedi as they flew across the room, and he turned to confront Yoda and the other Masters. Though he didn't care for them, he was concerned with Anakin. But Anakin wasn't playing games. He was coming here to bring balance to the Force. He sent a wave of force at Palpatine, sending him through the glass window of his office. The Jedi ran to the edge to look down, and Palpatine was floating lifelessly to the ground below. Anakin had a job to do, and he followed the Emperor, who was falling down the side of the Senate building. Sliding down the side of the Senate building, he saw the body of Palpatine snap into the side of the building and bounce off limp. Anakin's force push caught Palpatine so off guard it had shattered his vertebrae, and he fell until hitting the side of the building, which would end up killing him. The Jedi would be recognized, but this time, Qui-Gon would officially leave the Order. Dooku, Anakin, and Qui-Gon would start a new order of Jedi that allowed for attachments and didn't have such strict rules. Plo Koon would eventually join the new order and adopt his own yellow lightsaber. Shaak Ti, shorter down the line, would join this new order. Yoda, Windu, and Fisto rebuilt the former Jedi Temple on Coruscant. The Order of Knights, which was led by Skywalker, Jinn, and Dooku, was widely supported in the Outer Rim as they brought balance to the world struck under the rule of crime. Eventually, Ezra would become a prized student at this order. The Jedi and the Order of Knights would coexist, as the galaxy began to recognize the Order of Knights as a legitimate peace-seeking force in the galaxy. The Republic would be reformed with major players such as Organa, Amidala, and Kryz leading a new movement of peace in the galaxy. Everyone who survived the Clone Wars and Order 66 would eventually die of natural deaths in a peaceful galaxy without the pain of the Sith. So that's the theory. Tell me what you guys think. I didn't want Anakin to just join the Jedi Order, so I came up with a new one called the Order of Knights, or the Knights of the Order of Knights, yeah. And I just want to go with a different name. Again, most of you guys know this. I'm trying to rewrite the Palpatine scenario because it always comes down to Palpatine, and I really I'm tired of trying to kill Palpatine off. I've come up with 20 different ways of how to kill him off, and I'm really getting bored of it. So I'm trying my best to give you a different approach to it, so that for those of you that watch every video, which I very much so am appreciative for, I don't want you guys to get bored of just watching the same video and being like, oh, Palpatine died by this way again. So I'm trying to give you a different way, and for Palpatine's death, I do believe that Anakin at this point would have been strong enough with the Force to just snap Palpatine's vertebrae. Yeah, Palpatine had a very strong defensive force field around him as a force barrier, but I think Anakin, both being the chosen one and having had the full capability of being trained in the 20 years or so since he was picked up by Qui-Gon, I think he would have grown very naturally and very powerfully in the Force, where he would have been able to do that. And that's what I'm trying to convey here. Also, I really hope you guys liked the story. I really enjoyed the story. I thought it was a different approach. Everyone talks about the implications of Obi Wan and dying at the hands of Maul and how that would affect Anakin's life, but most people just go to putting Anakin immediately into the Jedi Order as if he belongs in the Jedi Order. But I wanted to do something different here, and I think with that something different came a better story. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, leave a like down below. Otherwise, I love you all, spread the love, and always remember, may the Force be with you.